Movie reviews. So, I watched Girl Interrupted, and this was written and directed by James Mangold very early on in his career, and I was actually kind of shocked to know that this was a James Mangold movie. I mean, he had a very interesting career. This was only his third movie he ever made. His second movie was Copland with Sylvester Stallone, which was a quiet kind of cult classic. And then over the last 20 years, he's made three great movies that are some of my favorites, like Walk the Line and 3:10 to Yuma and Logan. I mean, last year he did do Ford v Ferrari, but I'm not holding that against him. So James Mangold made this movie. It's true story, based on a memoir by Susanna Kaysen, who Winona Ryder plays. And it's really a star-studded cast because you got Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie, Brittany Murphy, Elisabeth Moss, Jared Leto, Jeffrey Tambor, Vanessa Redgrave, Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it's a huge cast you have here. And it is, she goes to a mental ward, and everyone thinks she's crazy, and it's her relationship with all the inmates there, and with the nurse and the doctors. The nurse is played by Whoopi Goldberg. The doctors are played by Jeffrey Tambor and Vanessa Redgrave. It's like a perfect companion piece with One Floor of the Cuckoo's Nest, which we watched just a couple weeks ago and did a deep dive of. But it takes it in the opposite direction, where Cuckoo's Nest is, you have this sadistic villain of a nurse, and you end in this tragedy, and the only way you're free from a place like that is through death. And this goes in the opposite direction, where you have a saint of a nurse in Whoopi Goldberg that is giving her exactly what she needs, and really but at the same time you still have many of those scenes where it's Winona Ryder just kind of watching the inmates. This is Angelina Jolie in her Oscar-winning performance, and she totally earns it. But Elisabeth Moss gives a great performance. Brittany Murphy is ridiculous in this movie. Clea DuVall's in it as well. She gives a very fascinating performance. So it's a lot of her just watching them saying, wow, they're actually crazy. Kind of like McMurphy watching the inmates in Cuckoo's Nest saying, wow, they're actually crazy. The way it plays out and the way it all works out, I honestly love this movie. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was fascinating to watch. Had me riveted the whole time. 3.5 stars. It's going to be in my top 10 of 1999 moving forward. It was a really good watch, and I'm really curious to see what Zach ends up thinking when he has to watch it.
I watched the first hour of it, just to be clear. I got into it. I wasn't in love with it, but I would be willing to revisit it.
All right.
If the call comes.
Yeah,
I think it really like I said, this and Cuckoo's Nest make like the perfect double feature. Wouldn't you say, Todd?
Yeah. Oh, and I said on our Cuckoo's Nest thing, I feel like this is like the better version of Cuckoo's Nest. I know that's a controversial statement because this was also my number one movie that has a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I will never understand because I feel like it checks every box for what critics would like. But I love the movie. I think Jolie was my number 3 supporting actress performance of all time. I'm glad that you really liked it because I was prepared for you to be lukewarm about it. But at least you liked the movie I gave you.
Angelina Jolie is really good in it. However, I mean, how did Winona Ryder not get any acclaim for this? Because she's insane in this movie. She is amazing. It almost feels like this is like her character in Beetlejuice grown up.
Well, and she had multiple nominations too coming up to that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it would have been out of the blue to start rewarding her. But she is great. She holds her own with Angelina, who's a scene stealer.
And all that came out of this movie was Angelina, right? She was, she got nominated everywhere. She won everywhere, but it was the only accolades this movie got. Like, it was the only nomination I got at the Academy Awards. Kind of crazy.
Okay, how to under 60% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe that's why James Mangold followed this up with Kate and Leopold.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, the one that you said was not one of his good movies, the one that got a Best Picture nomination. That's it's funny.
Yeah, I know. But that was definitely a thrice declined movie on this podcast.